Traffic and revenue risk is basically an evaluation of whether for a certain project corridor, what amount of traffic volume and what amount of revenue can be collected for the period of the concession. In the US market, we mostly see two different approaches to allocation of traffic and revenue risk. The first one is the case where project revenues are not reasonably able to pay for the full cost of the project. In those cases, we see that the state authority takes on 100% of the traffic and revenue risk and makes payments to the private sector for the construction and the maintenance of the asset, regardless of the traffic volumes or the revenues collected. An example of this is the I-4 Ultimate project in Orlando, Florida. The second approach to traffic and revenue risk allocation that we see in the US is in cases where the traffic and revenue forecast is expected to cover the project costs, both operations and maintenance, as well as debt service payments from the financing during construction. And in these cases, then the risk is fully allocated to the private sector. In those cases also, if there is any upside in revenue beyond an agreed point, the public sector is also able to share in those additional profits. An example in the US market of this approach are the express lanes in Dallas, the express lane network in the DC metro area, and I-77 express lanes in Charlotte, North Carolina. There are certain political and technical aspects of the project that need to be considered when thinking about allocating traffic and revenue risk. These considerations include toll rate policy. How flexible is the toll rate policy? Does the state want to retain the ability to set the toll rates? What will be done in terms of certain vehicle classes? Will they be able to apply for discounts? How will tolls be collected? Does the state have plans for any competing facilities, and will that pose a demand risk for the project? And finally, are there any funding requirements or constraints in terms of the public sector funding for the project?